We are in the home stretch for the 2018 AFL season, and there are still some teams clawing their way at that top 8 finish. All this and more discussed in the upcoming instalment of AFL 2018 season predictions, teams, and tips.
His name is Godzirra.
What's going on, Godzirra Nation? This is Godzirra back again with another AFL Teams and Tips video looking ahead to round 19 action. Thank you for joining me as always. Before we get started, thank you guys so much for all the support behind this initiative. As I've already said to you guys, this is something we're going to continue doing each and every season moving forward. The response from you guys have been absolutely awesome. Although there's only a few of you doing the tips this season, now that you know that this is going to be a season-long thing every year, and there's rewards for the winner at the end of the season, we're looking at making this a bigger and better initiative in 2019 and beyond. But without further ado, it's time to get stuck in. So AFL action kicking off tonight at the Etihad Stadium. We have Essendon hosting the Sydney Swans. In for Essendon, Connor McKenna, Jake Stringer and Aaron Francis. Travis Collier, Ben McNeese both omitted, and Sean McKernan with that injury out for the rest of the year. Mitch Brown plays game 50 for the AFL. We all know he travelled over from Geelong. For the Sydney Swans, Heath Grundy and Jordan Dawson come in. Harry Marsh and Darcy Cameron have both been omitted. This is actually a really tough lineup. Essendon is still clawing and fighting for a top 8 finish. I feel personally their loss to Carlton this year is going to play factor in them missing. But if they beat Sydney, then that's 2 big losses Sydney should have actually pulled wins over, and that could potentially harm their top 8 finish as well. So there's a lot of that going around in the coming weeks. You're going to see a lot of teams fighting each other, and the outcome could have a lot of bearing on where either team finish. But I think looking at this lineup, I'm gonna have to go with my gut here. I think after being smacked by the Gold Coast last week, Sydney's going to come out firing, and I'm going to back Sydney to beat Essendon at Etihad Stadium. Probably a big call, and Essendon probably are going to get up and belt Sydney here, and that could be 2 potential huge losses for Sydney. But I just feel Sydney aren't the type of club that get belted by a lesser team one week and then lie down the following week and take another beating. They're the type of team that resets and bounces back ferociously, and I'm going to back Sydney to kick off round 19 action tonight at Etihad Stadium. Looking ahead to the first game of Saturday afternoon, the blockbuster, the sellout game at the MCG, Richmond versus Collingwood. In for the Tigers, Jacob Townsend and Liam Baker on debut. Callum Moore has been omitted, Connor Menadue out injured. Jaden Short plays game 50 and would have to be one of the front runners for the best and fairest at Richmond this year. He has been an absolute revelation down back, and it actually cuts me up to see how well he's playing this year. The fact that he missed playing the grand final last year. But for the Collingwood Magpies, Darcy Moore, Callum Brown both back in. Braden Sear out injured. Jordan De Goey out injured as well. Brodie Grundy notches up game 100 for the Pies. I am backing Richmond here, and I say this because I would have been a hell of a lot less confident if it wasn't for the fact that Jordan De Goey was out injured, as well as the likes of, Adam Treloar and all the other Pies that have fallen down to injury this year. I personally, as a Richmond fan, would rather us face a fighting fit Collingwood lineup and see where we're at fighting 2 full healthy lists head to head. But I think injury might play factor here. Jordan De Goey got off the chain last week against North Melbourne, and I think without him up forward, it takes just a little bit of potency out of that forward 50. So I think Richmond get a little bit of a reprieve there, and I think bouncing back last week against St Kilda, Richmond are going to be back on form to finish off the season very strong. We head on over to the GMHBA Stadium, Geelong hosting the Brisbane Lions. Lockie Fogarty in for the Cats. Jermaine Jones has been omitted. Luke Hodge and Harris Andrews both come in for the Lions. Cedric Cox out of the team through omission, and Tom Cutler out with suspension. Geelong will get it done here. Brisbane are going to put up one hell of a fight, and their last month and a half has been absolutely brilliant, and I've said it in the last one and I'll say it again. Within the next 2 to 3 years, Brisbane will be playing finals. They're a very lively group of young talent, and they've shown the last month and a half when they string good football together, they can match it with the best. However, I just feel here, even with Harris Andrews and Luke Hodge coming in, I think Geelong pinch it at home. I really think Geelong pinch it at home. However, Brisbane, feel free to upset me, because I'm actually glad that Brisbane is starting to notch up some wins. Flying over to the east at Spotless Stadium, GWS hosting St Kilda. Sam Taylor comes in for the Giants. Lachlan Keefe has been omitted. The axe has been swung at St Kilda. Nathan Brown, Jack Loney, Blake Acres, Nick Caulfield all come in. Hunter Clark is out being managed, but Ed Phillips, Bailey Rice and David Armitage all omitted from the lineup. GWS get it done comfortably here. I tipped them to win the premiership, and with the ladder prediction that I did about a month ago, I actually had them missing the top 8. But their run home, I actually did not realise they had a pretty cruisy run. And this is going to be kicking off that cruisy run. Giants are going to get it done quite comfortably at home against St Kilda here. Saturday night, Adelaide Oval. The Adelaide Crows host Melbourne. Taylor Walker comes back in for Adelaide. Young, promising defender, possibly the rising star for 2018. Tom Doty out injured. No change for Melbourne. Jordan Lewis plays game 300. Dom Tyson plays game 100. And Melbourne upset Adelaide at home. Adelaide have been playing some pretty average football, to say the least. They're going to want to get one back over Melbourne after that smacking at TIO earlier this year. But I think Melbourne are comfortably going to fly over to Adelaide and comfortably going to come home with a win. I just think Melbourne, they're still pushing for that top 4. And I still think they've got it in them to push for that top 4. And I'm going to be happy when they smack Adelaide, because I hate Adelaide. So Melbourne, get it done. Metricon Stadium rounds out the action for Saturday night. Gold Coast Suns hosting Carlton. This is possibly the only last chance Carlton have at winning a game for the year, which is upsetting to say, but it really, in all hindsight, it probably is. For the Suns, Braden Fiorini, David Swallow, Jack Bowes all in. Charlie Ballard out injured. Callum Archie out with an illness, and Braden Crossley out injured as well. For the Blues, we have Dale Thomas, Cyan Byrne, Darcy Lang, Sam Rowe and Jed Lamb all coming in. Zach Fisher and Liam Jones out injured. Levi Casbolt, Matt Shaw and Nick Graham all omitted from the lineup. Probably swinging the axe on the wrong players there. I mean, realistically here, Brendan Bolton is on his last legs. I think if the Gold Coast win here, even though it's at home, this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. With Carlton playing a team that they can potentially win against, and they drop it, and if they drop it in a big way, this is Brendan Bolton's exit. And unfortunately, I think it might be, because I'm tipping the Suns to get it done. I think knocking off Sydney in Sydney is going to give those young kids a hell of a lot of confidence, and I think coming back home against a side that's been struggling, the Gold Coast can get it done. I actually do hope, for all the Carlton supporting subscribers I have on the channel, that Carlton do get up and win here. It is upsetting to see a team that I saw play live at the start of the season against the Eagles and so show so much promise. They've showed a hell of a lot of promise against Richmond at the start of the year. I actually thought Carlton were going to have a very competitive season, and we just saw the drop-off. It is unfortunate, but as I've turned around and said to you guys, as a long-time Richmond supporter, you have to be able to ride the lows with the highs. That grand final last year would not have been so enjoyable had it not been for sticking by my team through all the struggles and then seeing us rise to the top. Carlton fans, I urge you to do the exact same thing. Stick by your team. Get angry, get upset, do whatever you need to, but never turn your back or your loyalty away from your club. Carlton have a good young list. They're being underutilised. There's some players that are out that need to come back in, but I feel you guys are going to be on track within the next couple of years, so don't worry. Don't worry. However, unfortunately, as I said, Gold Coast to round out Saturday night action for myself. We start things on Sunday, and we're heading over to Blundstone Arena in Tasmania. Even playing ground here. North Melbourne hosting the West Coast Eagles. Now, Sunday games, as always, extended benches. So check final teams later on over the weekend if you want to see the definite ins and outs. That Nick Larkey, Ben Mackay, Will Walker, Mason Wood and Tom Murphy all named in for the Kangaroos. Alex Morgan out injured. Will Walker named to debut. Sean Higgins plays game 200. For the Eagles, Jack Petrusel, Jackson Nelson, Tom Barras, Brendan Archie, Jake Waterman all in. Lewis Jetta out injured. Nathan Vardy plays game 50. I am tipping North Melbourne to beat the Eagles in Tasmania. North Melbourne play brilliant football over in Tassie, the same as Hawthorn, and I feel this is their comeback. They lost tremendously to Collingwood last week, and I backed them to win, and it was upsetting that they didn't. But I think here, North Melbourne, if they can get one up over the West Coast Eagles, they can push for that top 8 finish that they definitely deserve this season. I think if they miss it, they would have been robbed, considering everybody backed them for the spoon, and they've been playing some good football. Definitely going to be a battle of the big men. Best in town, Big Benny Brown up one end. You're going to have Darling and Kennedy up the other end, but I think where the battle is going to be won, Goldstein is going to have a field day in that ruck contest without Nick Natanui. I think he's going to have a very big day against Vardy and Lysette, and that is where the game is going to be game, set and match. We fly on over to Optus Stadium, Fremantle hosting Hawthorn. Stephen Hill, Sean Darcy, Andrew Brayshaw, Hayden Ballantyne all named for Fremantle. Jaeger O'Meara, Sean Burgoyne, Mitch Lewis, Connor Nash and Taylor DeRay all named for the Hawks. Daniel Howe out with suspension. Connor Nash named to debut. Hawthorn are going to win. I think with naming Jaeger O'Meara, Sean Burgoyne, those are two pivotal players in that Hawthorn lineup, and with having Mitchell and Jaeger O'Meara back in that midfield set, Hawthorn are going to have a big win. They need this big win because I want them to lock in that top 8 spot as well, because I predicted them to do so. But I think where the game is going to be won is whether Banfield, because I think Bailey Banfield, the one, is going to be going to Tom Mitchell. If he can limit Tom Mitchell's use of the ball, Fremantle could notch a sneaky win. However, I am backing Hawthorn, and I'd probably go as far to say this could be another potential 3-vote 40-plus disposal game for Tom Mitchell as well. So Hawks to get it done Sunday afternoon. And the final game of the round is at Mars Oval in Ballarat. Mars Stadium. Western Bulldogs are hosting Port Adelaide. Some big ins and outs for both clubs here. I'm actually surprised they've got a full lineup considering it's a Sunday game. Anyway, Marcus Bontempelli, Fergus Green, Lewis Young, Fletcher Roberts, Shane Biggs, Patrick Lipinski, Callum Porter, all named in for the Bulldogs. Billy Gowers out injured, Luke Dalhouse out injured, Tom Boyd out injured. Fergus Green and Callum Porter will both debut if selected, and Marcus Bontempelli plays game 100. For the Port Power, Tom Jonas, Stephen Motlop, Paddy Ryder, Billy Frampton, Kane Farrell, Aidan Johnson, Riley Bonner, all named in. Lindsay Thomas has been omitted, Dougal Howard and Carl Amon injured. Billy Frampton, Kane Farrell will debut if selected. Port Adelaide get it done to round out action on the weekend. I just think here, seriously, with those ins just outweigh the ins of the Bulldogs. Paddy Ryder back in the ruck, considering Tom Boyd is out injured, is going to be a huge up for Port. Tom Jonas takes Dougal Howard's spot in the back line. Stephen Motlop takes Carl Amon's midfield spot and gives a lot of run. Riley Bonner gives a lot of run off of half back. Aidan Johnson looks lively around the half, forward half. I just think they get it done here. I'm locking in Port Adelaide to round out my tips for the weekend. So to recap who I've selected, we're going with Sydney Swans, Richmond, Geelong, GWS, Melbourne, Gold Coast, North Melbourne, Hawthorn, and Port Adelaide. Be sure to get your tips in the comment section down below. If you have been enjoying this initiative on the channel, feel free to leave some love and support. Smash that thumbs up button. It's always appreciated when you do so. I cannot thank you guys enough. I still have my 400 subscriber Q&A coming. I've just had some things putting that on hold, but it is coming, guys. I assure you of that, so stay tuned for that. And I cannot thank you guys enough for helping me achieve that milestone. What we set for 2018 was to go from 300 to 500, and I'm confident with your help we are going to get there, and hopefully within the next 12 months we can smash that 1,000 subscriber milestone. That would be absolutely huge. I can't do it without your support, guys, so please, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, pledge your allegiance to the Godzirra Nation, tick that little bell next to it while you're at it so you get notified every single time a brand new video comes to the channel or I go live. Live streams are going to be coming back in a big way, so stay tuned for that. All my social media accounts are down below. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Reach out, have a chat. I love chatting with each and every one of you. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.